Hello world, I am Baron Robin and welcome to this House of Iron video. I'm going to tell you about playing on elite difficulty and I'll share with you 5 tips on how to deal with the problems thrown at you by playing on this difficulty level. The impact of playing on elite difficulties are to political power, where you get a 30% penalty, so you will have a lot less options to develop your country, and also diplomatically, in justifying war goals and improving relations, you will have a lot less opportunities to do so. The second penalty you get is to your research. So all research cost is increased by 20%. Now this is quite painful and you'll have to find a way to work around this. The third penalty you get is to your production. Your production efficiency is reduced by 30%, while the base is 50. So this is very painful. My first tip is to specialize in your country on whatever it's doing. So if you're playing as a major country, specialize your research and your templates a little more than you are used to. So if you're playing as Germany, don't produce 3 different armored columns and also research 5 ships, and then while keeping your industry at top-notch level. Make choices. And when you're playing one of the well, not really minor but medium powers, such as for instance Sweden, play it as if you are a minor power. Really focus your research, your production, and everything you do. Don't get sidetracked. And if you're playing as a minor power, if you're playing as Peru, or you basically want to focus your template on having only infantry, maybe only infantry and artillery, but don't go for a nice infantry division which you saw on the internet with very 40 width, artillery divisions, 5 support divisions and all that. You just don't have the production capacity to deal with that. Keep a narrow focus. The second tip I have is to treat all your political power with respect. You can only spend your political power once and you have a lot less of it. Because you spend 1 of your political power on going for a national focus, you will have only, well, in this case, 0.6 political power left. It's not a lot. Now you can increase your generation of political power by picking an advisor, such as a silent workhorse. But not every country has a silent workhorse. Some countries also have, such as Hitler, a leader which has political power again. There are also some of the flat bonuses in the national focus trees, which give you political power, a flat increase of 120. They are a lot more valuable on elite than they are on regular. Since you don't have that much political power, you really want to think long and hard about your decisions. Do you really need to go for that additional bit of recruitable pop through your conscription law, or are you actually better off boosting your army by getting an infantry expert? Or are you better off boosting your economy? Really take time and pick the right change for your country. And a thing which I think is often overseen is that you can also not pick a political focus, not pick a national focus for a short while. Every day you don't pick a national focus, you get an additional 1 political power. So imagine you have your key bit of the tree done. It's probably better to wait and go for that infantry expert, which boosts your whole army, than to get 2 minor increases in efficiency to your country. So don't be afraid to pause your national focus tree development. My third tip is don't pick too many lines in your production. Production efficiency is hard to come by. If you pick more production lines, you'll have a harder time optimizing your industry. So if you have 10 production lines, you'll have to manage where you put your factories. And every factory you move around will have to build up its efficiency again. So having fewer production lines helps make that decision easier, and you are less prone to make mistakes. My fourth tip is to treat every bit of equipment you have with care. Because production is so much harder to come by, you definitely can't afford to waste your equipment. For instance, going for forced attack, getting more strength damage, last stand is very painful. Also, try not to have your whole infantry front line move forward at the same time, but try to go for encirclements. Be very efficient. Also, on fronts where you're not fighting, try to have the least amount of divisions you can have there. Don't waste any resources anywhere. Be very efficient on where you put your precious equipment. Also note that stolen equipment is actually slightly more valuable. Because all the AI countries don't get the penalty you have, they'll produce equipment at a regular rate. So if, for instance, you're playing as Sweden, you're taking over Norway, all that stolen equipment is gonna come in very handy, and you want to plan for gaining that stolen equipment when you lay out your factories. My fifth tip is, please note the changes in value of your researches. There are a few researches which greatly change in value because you are playing on Elite. For instance, the most important one is your production efficiency increase researches. The first one increases your efficiency cap by 10%. It's down to 20 when you start out the game. This research alone basically increases your industry output by 1.5 times. The second one 33%, and so on and so forth. So especially the first ones are so valuable. So you want to focus these. Dispersed industry is also a lot more valuable because you get the production efficiency, retention, and the base increase. This is going to help out your optimization dilemma a lot. So if I play a major nation, I will generally go for dispersed industry, playing on Elite. Now, since you get a research penalty, you want to alleviate that as much as you can by focusing the research time researchers. This is, I think, a no-brainer, and is actually good in many strats. Now, furthermore, when designing your divisions, you may want to use support companies, the maintenance company and the logistics company, which are a lot more valuable. Logistics companies reduce your supply usage by 10%, and that increases up to 40% when you have the last one. Maintenance companies also go up in value because you have higher reliability and thus lose less equipment. And also you get an equipment capture ratio, which comes in very handy, this free equipment. And the last bit of value changes comes through the doctrines. The mass assault doctrine gives you a reduction in supply consumption here when you go for deep battle by 10% here and 10% here, so a total of 20%. This is pretty valuable, and a lot more valuable than it normally is. The same goes for the Grand Battle Plan Doctrine, where you get a 10% supply reduction supply consumption reduction, when you go for infiltration. Also, going for the ground battle plan doctrine is actually not a bad idea, because it gives you a boost to your initial attack, and it benefits countries which don't have huge overpowering armies compared to their enemies. So these two trees, I think, become more valuable than they normally are. So if you're in doubt, you may want to pick these. Now, as an added bonus to this video, I always like playing with the strength sliders to the right. This basically boosts the countries you're playing against or playing with by a fair bit, and I think it's a very helpful bonus for the AI. The AI will make mistakes in choosing their production lines. They will make mistakes in choosing researchers, and at least through moving the sliders a bit to the right, you can help the AI out, and you'll have a more interesting game. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.